Elliott, when you were endorsing John Curran's nomination to the New Hampshire Circuit Court, you stated that Curran, quote, reads the people, he reads the facts, he's not overly focused on the law, and he understands what the jury might be thinking about, and those same qualities that make him an incredible trial lawyer will make him a fantastic judge. Why do you think it is a beneficial trait in a judge to not be, as you put it, overly focused on the law?
Thank you for the question, Senator Cruz. And I have to say at the outset that that is not what I intended to say. And so I apologize if it's given the impression that I don't think judges need to follow the law. If I were given the honor of a confirmation, obviously, I would follow the precedent faithfully and without any bias. What I intended to say about John Curran, who was then my law partner and is now on the circuit court in New Hampshire, is that he is not overly formal. I didn't mean to suggest that he doesn't follow the law. It's that he doesn't, there are two different types of trial lawyers, as I'm sure you've seen, and some are focused very much so on explaining the law in a dry, kind of borderline pedantic way. And then Attorney Curran was really much more about connecting with the judge and the jury and the parties in the courtroom. And I thought that given what he was nominated to be, which is a circuit court judge doing, small claims and misdemeanor cases, that his ability to connect with the parties in the courtroom would be an asset to the bench.
Okay, thank you. Judge Lopez, before joining the bench, you represented an illegal alien who had re-entered the country after being deported, and you argued that it was reversible error for the trial court to instruct grand jurors to follow the law even if they disagree with it. As a judge, will you instruct jurors and grand jurors to follow the law, even if they disagree with it?
Thank you, Senator Cruz, for that question. Absolutely, I will.
Why then did you argue it was reversible error to do that?
Senator Cruz, I don't recall that case. I don't recall making that argument. As I sit here now, I would not be able to speak to the facts of that case. I can assure you that if I'm fortunate enough to be confirmed, I would do what I've done over the past 3 years as a magistrate judge, which is to faithfully apply the law, and I would instruct jurors to do the same.
Judge Menendez, during your investiture in 2016, you delivered a speech discussing your judicial philosophy. You stated, "I was hoping by now I would have the beginnings of a judicial philosophy, a simple mantra that could help me do this new and difficult job." No such luck, but the verse from Micah that my mom referenced in her invocation is one I keep in my head, maybe because I hear my pastor say it so often. Do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. Good advice for a judge. Judge, now that you've been on the bench for 5 years, how would you describe your judicial philosophy?
Thank you for that question, Senator. I think it's important, first and foremost, for a judge to apply the law, regardless of their opinions about it, squarely to the facts in the cases that come before them. And that's what I've endeavored to do at every turn, Senator. I would also say that it is important that the parties that come before me feel that they are heard, that I am impartial, and that I am always prepared. I'm not sure I've got a mantra yet, but I am very aware of the role of a judge and the importance of applying precedent.
Judge Ota, you were actively involved with the Lawyers Club as you co-chaired the Reproductive Justice and Women's Advocacy Committee and the Diverse Women's Committee, and you wrote several articles for the organization. In a 2020 press release, the Lawyers Club criticized the U.S. Supreme Court decision in Little Sisters of the Poor versus Pennsylvania. The press release said that the decision to allow religious and moral exemptions to the contraception mandate in the Affordable Care Act was a, quote, devastating blow to women's reproductive justice, and the decision perpetuates inequality. Do you believe that Supreme Court precedent upholding conscience protections and religious or moral exemptions are legitimate and binding on you as a judge?
Senator, thank you for the question. I take the First Amendment rights to free exercise of religious liberty very seriously. It is a foundational right. It's one that's enshrined in the Bill of Rights. And if that issue were to come before me in the courtroom, I would give it the due respect that it is owed. I would faithfully apply all Supreme Court precedent, and I would decide the case before me on the precedent and the facts without regard to previous advocacy positions, without regard to any personal or political beliefs that I may have on the issue.
Did you agree with the Lawyers Club press release blasting the Supreme Court's Little Sisters of the Poor decision?
Senator, the 15-member board of directors of the Lawyers Club of San Diego released that statement. I was on the board of directors at that time.
Did you agree with it?
Senator, that press release issued by the Lawyers Club of San Diego was before I became a sitting judge. Currently, as a sitting judge...
At the time it issued, did you agree with it? That's a yes or no. You either agreed with it or you disagreed with it.
Senator, currently as a sitting judge, I make my decisions.
I'm asking you at the time the press release went out, not today.
Senator, at the time that the press release went out, I was on the board of directors of the Lawyers Club of San Diego that voted to release that press release. However,
did you agree with it? Did you vote to release it?
Yes, I voted to release it. However, as a sitting judge, my personal views, any previous advocacy statements don't enter into my courtroom. That would be inappropriate and a violation of the judicial oath that I take very seriously as a sitting judge.
Thank you.